Spotlight interview features Klein Taylor, who was 10 years old when his cousins introduced him to a game, Dungeons & Dragons. In the 8th grade, he started drinking and doing drugs, and it was during that time that he met a friend, Snake, who introduced him to Satanism. He joined a satanic group known as the Sons of Satan. The group had grown in size to nearly 1,500 people, some as young as 11 years old.
Like in D&D, they have witchcraft and stuff like that, which is a part of Satanism too. I just took stuff from Dungeons & Dragons and used it as reality. I started liking the power, to it that gave me as I was killing things, killing people, animals. The more I played Dungeons & Dragons and the more I got involved in Satanism, they both become just about the same to me. The more I'd, looked into the groups and listen to them, the more it fed my mind, like, hey, suicide is the way, partying, drugs and everything, and I started doing drugs and stuff. Motley Crue's Shout the Devil tape had a big influence on me. The song Shout the Devil, and in the beginning part, Shout the Devil part, it said, be strong, destroy and shout at the devil. And then in the beginning, it said, we shall rule the afterwards forever. So I just figured, join Satan and, you'd have the power, you'd be able to take over the whole world. In Satanism, people are looking at them like just street people or drug addicts or alcoholics, but in our group, there was lawyers, nurses, doctors, and different, they range from all kinds of backgrounds. From rich to poor. There was breeders in our group, and what the females were for during the sexual rituals and other times where we had sex with them to have kids, and what the kids were used for is the human sacrifices. In our group there was babies, and they ranged from teenagers, babies, and older ones, but more of it was the babies. If you refused to do something, they would, in our group, they would sacrifice you. In Satanism, the more rank you get, what they call rank in there, the more bloodthirsty you get and the more death-related you get. If you refuse to do it, even though you knew it was wrong, and they asked you to do it or told you to do it, that you would die. That was the only way to, that was considered a sin for you not to obey them. To me, there is no way out besides Jesus Christ. I mean, you may be out as in not going to the meetings and stuff like that, but your mind and spirit's still in it, unless you go through Jesus Christ.
As you can see, I'm standing in front of ISIS bookstore here in Denver. It's a store that carries all kinds of magic and occult items, everything from how to conduct a witchcraft ritual to coven meetings, books on everything you'd need, crystals, astrology, tarot cards, everything for occult practices. And this lends to a lot of the fascination that young people have with Satanism and the occult. They're able to get their hands on books like I've got in my hand here. We got this in this bookstore. It's called The Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. Satan Wants You. Another one, Necronomicon, which is a book that deals with magic and the occult. They got the Ouija board in there, so there's just about everything in there. The only thing we couldn't find was Dungeons & Dragons, but you could go down to any mall, find any one of your national chain bookstores and get that. Dungeons & Dragons is one of over 300 fantasy role-playing games on the market today. At least 4 million players have accepted the invitation to enter into the fantasy dream world of sorcery, swords, and demons.
Well, actually, the figure by the National Coalition on Television Violence is documented more than 125 cases of either suicide or murder directly attributable to Dungeons & Dragons. In Dungeons & Dragons, what you do is to create a fantasized universe of the mind in which expediency to achieve your goal is more important than any kind of moral frame of reference to your actions. And so for some kids, generally they're very intelligent and they're very imaginative, when they do this, some of them can slip over the edge. It's kind of like it's a training primer. It's as they play the game they are learning to function by all the rules that are wrong.
D&D is morally deficient, it's spiritually corrupt, it is educationally evil, it teaches evil, and it is potentially dangerous. And the road to the ideals it represents leads to destruction, and that's the only place they lead. I should know.
Movies have done their damage too. Mark Branch, a 19-year-old horror movie buff, stabbed Sharon Gregory to death. Branch, who later hung himself, was fascinated by the slasher Jason in Friday the 13th, saying this: he wanted to see what it feels like to kill. Many of today's movies are no more than an introductory lesson to Satanism, witchcraft, and murder.
These kids are getting the idea from somewhere. A teenager doesn't manufacture a desire to see blood or taste blood or to know what it's like to kill another human being. But if they've seen Jason do it, if they've seen Freddy Krueger do it, for that small percentage of people out there who may be borderline psychotic or who have serious drug problems, it can, and in some cases does, tip them over the edge. Over the edge.
Level 3, 1.
I sense evil lurking into my gemwood. What are you doing here? How dare you interrupt me viewing passions? You've made me angry. Shazam!
Yes,
Reflection detection. How about this, baby lips? I'll save you for later, mama hungry. Rainbow turbo blasters, eh? How about some jelly bean gem style? Zippity zap zap. Mission control, you've been launched to space. Let's see who's next. Wind wall, so furious. Oh, nice hair, baby girl. How about I comb it? Let me bring Grandma's recipe. Zap it, zip it. See you around, cha-cha heels. No!
Yes! Oh, yes! I shall sing more. This is a story my grandmama Abdul would sing to me as I rest my head on my pillow.
Look, over there in the water. What is it? It's a daikini, baby.
He didn't plan it, not fans of it. He didn't want the job, but he can handle it. Not hating, but already involved. Burger cut, ass to the bone. Pass the braid and pass the bib. Pass the baby if you want to live. Trust mad people you meet in a cage. Give the baby up so the brownie can rage.
Go home, me gosh. Tell Kaya I love her. Go Willow, go Willow, go. Go Willow, go Willow, go. Go Willow, go Willow, go.
Come on now, Willow, and don't you cry. I don't wanna see you die. No, no, no. Deliver that daikini child to tearlessly. Rise and shine, Willow, like a firework. Willow, Willow, you're beautiful when you explode.
Widow, why have you turned me into a lamb?
No black girl when he's in charge. Keep the speed low, stay away from the bars. Hold the fort, it's cursed for sure, but trolls might be worse than hers. No love push can't screw this up, but if you don't figure out that one weird. Come on now, Willow, and don't you cry. I don't wanna see you die. No, no, no. Deliver that daikini child to tearlessly. Rise and shine, Willow, like a firework. Willow, Willow, you're beautiful when you explode.
No Willow in by birth, proud to be a magician in the works. Cover that naked witch with Zell. You have to finish her work cause she's old and fell. The big trick always gets some good. Save the baby, get back into the woods. Ride a mini pony home, rock your village. Did it, Willow, on your own.